Computer. Good morning, amazing soul sisters. Welcome to episode number 50 and the final recording of 2023. Who's excited, Miss Connie Rhodes?
I am very excied because, Master Lama Rasaji says, get free in 23 so you can soar in 24.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And the question, I'm so excited about this conversation, right? So we've been talking about relationships for the last almost month, I guess.
Yes, for the whole month.
And the question we have for you today is, how do you move from conflict to flow in your relationships? Who wants to know about that?
Me.
Well, and you could have had a particular way that your holiday went, right?
Yes.
And so there would be this extraordinary awareness to not only see how it was, be aware of how it was, and begin to alter it or shift it as we approach 2024. Because that's really what we're here to do, is to equip and empower you with tools for living your most exquisite life, to be full and rich and enlivened. And I'm just excited.
And on purpose.
Amen. Yes, yes, yes.
What do we always say around here? Your roar is required. That's right. That's right. So, bring it, baby.
So if we can give you some tools to have your roar be louder and more confident and more clear, that's what we're here to do today.
That's right.
That's right. And we have new matching earrings.
We do. Well, mine are navy and yours are black, but yes, they do match.
So I was so blessed to have Miss Connie for Christmas.
Awesome.
I made a dish that I've been, wanting to make for decades.
It was so good. It was so yummy and juicy, and it was so good.
Cornish hens were served, so
with roasted vegetables.
Yes.
With awesome salad, like homemade cookies. I mean, it was just like every little morsel was just like.
And the corn casserole that you brought.
Yeah, I brought the family tradition of corn casserole. Yep.
With extra butter. Thank you so much. Well, that's how we make it keto, right? Isn't that how we make it keto?
I don't know if corn can be keto, but
that was a joke.
Yeah. I do have a new keto recipe I'm going to try for 2024, though. I'm excited.
All right, bring it on. When can I invite you over again?
Well, there's another holiday coming up.
Oh my, we better get on with it.
Yes.
What do you have for us today in that amazing book called Frequency?
Yeah, so we're finishing up chapter 7. And first we're going to talk about how do you so your question was, how do you move from conflict to flow? Yep. And first we need to be aware of how that even to be aware of the state.
Yes.
Right.
Well, that's what I started with. Yeah. We want to.
Yeah. Yeah. So it says, when you meet someone new, do you receive clear first impressions? You may notice that you pick up on many subtle insights and that you know more about what makes people tick than you realize. As you first encounter someone, whether in person, by phone, or even by mail, your body, your trusty barometer, expands or contracts as it adjusts to resonate to their personal vibration. You may frequency match instantly to their emotional state
without knowing.
Right. Oh yeah, it's wholly unconscious.
Yes.
Yeah. If you feel happy, empowered, or totally accepted, it probably means the other person is joyful, empowering to others, and non-judgmental. Perhaps you feel a big slurp of sweet energy rolling over you, and you realize your associate relies on charm. If you feel contracted or cold, you might immediately sense the person is tense because they're shy or worried, or they're untrusting and holding back a secret, or they need to control the details of their environment because they feel overwhelmed. So, how do we do this, right? Start paying attention. So, trustworthy people feel totally present, real, congruent. You may feel more real in their presence. When you hear truth, your personal vibration may seem to make a harmonious noise or vibrate more clearly like a bell. When someone lies, your personal vibration may race erratically or pause as though you've taken a short in-breath. Your body senses something out of harmony, and that can scare your body slightly on a visceral level. You might feel something when you encounter people who are not in tune with themselves. Maybe they're saying one thing in their words and projecting different internal images in their imagination, while their personal vibration seems smooth and untroubled. Something doesn't quite compute, and internally you cock your head and listen more attentively. You could distinguish many fine lines. There's a subtle difference between accelerated energy based on adrenaline, which is like a fear-based response,
Mm.
and that based on a healthy enthusiasm. Similarly, you could feel the difference between calm, open-hearted energy and frozen stillness. So there's this little two-part exercise to start to be aware and like start to be able to identify what's going on, right? So how do you know when someone's heart is open or closed? Wouldn't you like to know?
I think I do, but carry on.
Yeah. How about
I'm
the
open to learning
subtle
something new.
Yeah. How about the subtle sensations your body and heart feel when you're with a partner who accepts, understands, cherishes, and champions you?
Mm.
Or when you're on a roll, playfully laughing and making jokes with someone? How do your body and heart feel when your partner judges you, misinterprets your good intentions, blames or accuses you, becomes stoic instead of communicative, or makes decisions that involve you without asking you? So recall a time when someone has hurt or offended you, when one of your buttons was pushed, or you reacted by pulling your energy in and closing down. What did your heart feel like then? Recall a time when your heart went out to someone. Write about those subtle sensations. Practice sensing the subtle signs that tell you someone's heart is open or closed, and that your own heart is open or closed as much as you can for a few days. So really it's about bringing awareness to all of that.
Sure.
So here's some questions you could ask when reading people and relationships. Are they congruent within themselves? Is their presentation aligned with their fear or their soul?
Mm.
Are they projecting a false front or relating to me without, or with, sorry, let me say that again. Are they projecting a false front or relating to me with their ego? We could hear that coming.
Yeah.
Am I reading the energy accurately? Do we have any matching blind spots? Am I reacting from a hidden agenda or responding from a neutral place? What do they bring out in me immediately? How does my body respond to them? Do I pick up sensory clues? Do they smell fishy or sour? Or sound tinny, screechy, or hollow?
Mm.
And as a musician, like I do hear that, like the
Yeah,
tone.
sure.
Yeah. What might I be learning from this person? What might I be drawing my attention in to myself? Are they trustworthy? Are they honest? Are they withholding or lying about something? Do they have a personal issue that will sabotage the relationship or the flow of a project? Do they have a need to control? And if so, what and how do they do it? Is this a beneficial relationship for me? Why? Is it time to update or change this relationship? Is it time to end the relationship? So these are just some questions like to start paying attention to this flow of the energy, right? So here's the like what we're leading with. How can you move from conflict to energy flow? So, we have to identify it first, but like just knowing makes no difference, right? That's what we say. Knowing makes no
Exactly.
difference. It's
Knowing
the movie
makes
prize.
no difference.
Yeah. So part of mastering relationship resonance is understanding the cycling nature of interaction and how your various inner wave motions parallel those of your partners. You constantly oscillate between levels of identity, giving and receiving, clarity, love, and confusion and fear, space and form, and your inner yang, assertive consciousness, and inner yin, receptive consciousness. Life is not meant to be just one way. The more fluid you are, the less you stop the wave. The more balanced you are, and the more you can apply the wave principles to increase the flow and soul. I love that in your relationships. So it talks about how when you're in, so like they have there, if you like, I'll show you the figures. So figure one, right? To figure two, to figure three is where we're going.
Okay, you can't read those. So can you say what they were?
It just says figure one. There's arrows pointing to the middle, and then there's arrows pointing out, right? And then there's the flow. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. It just says figure 1, figure 2, figure 3.
And that's just the contrasting or the expanding of your
Your
resonance.
energy, right?
Yeah,
So
okay.
when the energy is all going towards yourself, represents the trough of a wave or the inflowing, the centering phase of a cycle. When this applies to you as an individual or relationships course of development, it is at this stage that an experience of unity, space, and gestation of the new occurs. If you're in your own private process, you'll need to pause, be still, reconnect with your home frequency. If you're in a relationship, this is when people are attracted to each other and forget about the outside world. Once this inflow occurs, the ego wants to stop the flow and have this be the way life is. Fixation begins. In a personal process, you might feel isolated from others, cave in on yourself, feel worthless, or get stuck in depression because nothing's happening. In a relationship, the partners fixate on each other and their similarities, spend an inordinate amount of time together, virtually live in each other's lives, and lose touch with their own truth because there's just the one direction, right? And that's not, even that gets stagnant, right? Then what happens is then the arrows go apart, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that represents the crest of a wave or the outflowing creative phase of a cycle. Whether this applies to you as an individual or to a relationships course of development, it is at this stage that an experience of diversity, discovery, and materialization occurs. Once that outflow begins, the ego wants to stop the flow and have this be the way life is. In a personal process, when fixations start at this stage, you may feel hyperactive, overwhelmed, attached to your creations, or alienated from yourself. In a relationship, this is when partners diverge by finding out about their seeming differences. They move away from unity into a polarized impasse where they cannot agree, fall into complaining and blaming, feel their partner isn't right for them, and end up feeling isolated. In realities where you jerk unwillingly back and forth between fixated in merger and fixated in dissimilarity, you create needless suffering for yourself. If you don't experience the waves turn, right, that's where we're headed, which is typically when everything you've been doing suddenly makes sense. You'll prolong that phase, and that will integrate negativity. By focusing on fluidity and life's natural tendency to oscillate, you can shift into a transformed way of relating to both your higher nature and the higher nature of others. The key is seeing that the flow never stops. Number 2, the wave or cycle always curves towards a turn. And 3, whatever part of the cycle you are noticing is the part that you need right now. Like it's actually for you, right? It's not, nothing's happening to you, it's happening for you. And 4, the part of the cycle you're in will naturally evolve to the next phase at the right time. So we never stay stuck when we're in flow, right? We're moving in and we're moving away, and we're moving in and we're moving away. So how a relationship can oscillate harmoniously. So that infinity symbol, right? The flow represents a relationship in flow. One, this is what I love this. One in which you remember what it feels like to be at the end of a phase where the wave bends, carrying you into the next experience that you need. Like it's for us, right? We get to do this, not have to. Your mind doesn't freeze frame on one position and doesn't stay stuck in an either or thinking. Instead, you trust the energy flow. Notice what's new, assume it's something valuable to understand, and let yourself be comfortable with paradox or both and thinking. Being together and apart are both good. Having different ideas is educational. If at the most oppositional time you could see how the trait you don't like in your partner is also in you, that mirroring that we've been talking about, then you make the turn and remember that it's possible to recenter in your relationship's home frequency. If the relationship's most merged time, which is the center point of the 8, you realize that it's going to be nurturing and interesting to have your partner separate from you and see what he or she chooses to create and learn next. Then you won't be possessive or untrusting because you know it's coming back, right? If you love them, let them go. And if they love you back, they come back, right?
Yeah.
We've heard that saying. If when you're both at the most separated point in the relationship, which is the outer edges of the figure 8, you realize that the thing you most want is to come home and share your experience with your partner. See how they respond and what they might add you won't feel isolated or blaming. Like, you know, that's coming. It's just part of the flow. A relationship between two internally balanced people whose priority is staying in the relationship's home frequency can be a beautiful, harmonious dance. I like that analogy of the dance. And with which both know how to lead and both can follow. Both enjoy being intimate and private. Both enjoy being independent and social. Both trust the flow and know that what emerges from the other is meaningful to them as well, right? If your partner needs to be particularly dynamic, you'll naturally feel like holding the space for them to act effectively. Next time, your partner supports you. When your partner accuses you of something, you could be the clear one and facilitate a return to open-heartedness, which we talk about all the time. Like, I remember who you are, right? And when
Yeah.
we can really stay in that, it will bring back, you know, it'll keep the flow continuing. So then, and then the next time your partner is the calm one. Being able to continually rotate between the oppositional phase of the cycle allows you to access to much more of your relationship's potential, because every completed cycle builds trust and more soul saturation of your shared field. I think it's beautiful. So here's the synopsis. So in phase one, you're simultaneously drawn to the other because you frequency match issues both souls want to focus on. You experience love, attraction, admiration. You know, we remember those times, right? And they come back. Number two, the love draws everything that's in the way of more love into the relationship space so it can be cleared. Both people's subconscious fears surface. They arise so that we can clear them, right? You play opposite roles, having differing opinions, blame and punish each other, resuppress your problems to get along or break up. This usually repeats, drags on, and can often end the relationship. To be successful, the relationship must progress to phase two and phase three. Phase two, which is the outer, like with the arrows pointing out. You choose to recenter in the relationship's home frequency. Find a way to reopen your hearts and communicate about what you're feeling without blame or projection. No sentences starting with you. Like, this is where we start with I, you know, and have that curious, like the blameless discernment that we've talked about before. You look for common vulnerabilities, understand your misinterpretations, and choose to turn the unhealthy feeling habit in yourself around. Your partner chooses at their own speed. You reaffirm what you value in the relationship and in the other. Restate your goals for being together and remember that you want to cherish the other person. More interferences to greater love now surface from the subconscious minds of both people. And really, they're brought to the surface to, you know, heal and clear. Then phase three, I love this. Repeat phase two. Each time love conquers fear, your bodies get more used to the higher frequency relationship. And you stop choosing negative vibrations because they're too boring and difficult. So, like, I'm just going to recap here. The people in your world frequency match with you and share a field of vibration. It could speed your growth to understand the purposes of the relationships in your life. Other people reinforce your positive talents and help you understand your current life lessons, introduce you to new directions, or help you see and clear emotional wounds and unhealthy feeling habits. Fear-based relationships have particular issues to work out, but people with highly different frequencies do not appear in each other's lives. So that's something important to remember. Like, if they're in your field, there's a reason for it, because if your soul has nothing to learn, those people just aren't there, right? So relationships change or end because the partner's vibrations shift, because the souls move into new phases. There's no need to be upset over ended relationships if you support each other's soul's growth. When you're alone, you're still in a relationship with many other things. It's impossible to stop resonating. Almost done. Relationships have a home frequency too, which reveals the deeper purpose of the relationship and the mechanics of how the partner's transformation processes are likely to unfold. When you give and receive from your home frequency in a relationship, only increase can occur for both people. Relationships help you experience an expanded identity. You move beyond thinking of yourself as an individual and feel yourself as the relationship family, group, organization, nation, and humanity. To heal others, you must clear the emotional wound you perceive in them in yourself. As you become more skilled with conscious sensitivity and empathy, you pick up detailed information about others via your body and your intuition. You can shift from unhealthy conflict and opposition based relationships to healthy flow based ones by working with wave principles to oscillate consciously. And then she ends with this reflection that I think is just beautiful. Deep compatibility, which is soul to soul, begins with a comfortable resonance of familiarity, with the intuition that we are somehow already known to each other. You know, I remember meeting you and it felt like I knew you for like ever.
Yes. Yes.
So
And don't
this
you
is,
ever meet people like that? You're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've known you
you're
forever.
my,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
it's that resonance, that
Yes.
familiarity. Yeah.
Yes.
So as we speak, our ideas fit like puzzle pieces, building on each other as we discover a slowly emerging co-created world, more interesting and complex than either of us could know alone. It is the excitement of our interpenetrating and interstimulating mind that fuels the romantic heart and the physical passion. The desire to discover the path into what is so deeply comfortable, the kinship that seems to pre-exist our knowing of each other. Like what we were just saying, like I know you. We have that going on all the time. It is the fuel for lifelong love. For the closer we become to the cause of our mysterious harmony, the more it recedes, drawing us ever outward to a larger and more expanded experience of our shared self. So when we commit to believing in our partner's magnificent as a soul first and a personality second, to see the soul, the same self-awareness looking out from the other's eyes, speaking with the other's voice, this is to collapse the false attraction of need, the false fear, blame, rejection. Seeing soul as our daily practice, which is what we're committed to, right? Seeing the excellence and the brilliance in others, makes attraction and rejection, that just that one way, right? Instead of the flow, makes it into a prehistoric phenomena. We know we always were, are, and will be in each other as one another, like this, like an ultimate mirror. So I just think that is such a beautiful way to like succinctly talk, like, end this chapter. And you know, we have an exercise in our Facebook group, um, in Soul Sister Adventures on Facebook under files about like I see you. And first we see ourselves. Like we can't see in another what we don't see in ourselves. So like start there. Like if you're wondering, like, okay, so how do I do this as lived? I would suggest start there. Like
Yeah.
get clear about the beautiful qualities in your own soul. Then it's easier to then see those in the other. And then you commit to seeing others, family members, colleagues, you know, the world as this mirror that is only for our highest and best good.
Well, and I think a couple things I'm present to. One, we have been saying this entire month. This is about all relationships, right?
Yeah.
So I love that this is the conversation at the end of the year, because the year you have a relationship with this year.
Yeah. Yep. Lots happened
and,
this year.
and you're beginning to create a new year. So that's kind of the flow as well.
Yep.
But then it also, I'm just represents to, this goes back to creating a life that you love. And if we can be with and get the ebbs and flows of our relationships and bring it back, like you said, to what are you committed to inside this relationship? And, you know, whether it be a friendship, a romantic relationship, the relationship you are as a parent. I mean, like,
Oh, for sure.
I can't even remember how many times I've just like behaved in a way that, golly, that wasn't my commitment.
Well, sure.
Can we come back and be like, wow, I responded not in my highest self. Can you forgive me? Right.
Yep. Yep.
And come back to center, come back to home frequency. And I love, again, the awareness of everyone comes into your life for a reason,
Yep.
either to add to or show something to you such that you can clear it. And we can't see in another what doesn't exist in us. And that includes the good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's right. This is true.
Oh my goodness. And
Well, oh, go ahead.
well, and I'm just going to say, I know you and I, we put ourselves in rooms to grow and expand us at a really rapid rate. And
Yep.
while you think, oh, that's so yummy and delicious, the muck that comes up as well is confronting. And so to be able to be with the ebb and flow, the dips, the turns, and
Yep.
return to, wow, what did I really come here for?
Yep.
Thank you so much for the gift of clearing this yuck that I'm feeling or seeing or experiencing. And like I'm actually experiencing it in somebody else such that I can go, okay, what about this is about me?
Uh-huh. Yes, totally.
Oh man, this is the jam and the juice of life, really.
Well, and it takes courage to do that,
Yeah,
right? So I want to acknowledge all you that are out there taking that on
yeah.
because it's not common. I was
Oh,
meeting with someone yesterday who coaches like the 3%, right? The high
mm,
performance. And she is very committed to the same things that we're doing, right?
yeah,
And when you realize this is not an ordinary conversation.
yeah.
This
It
is
really
for
takes
the
something
bravest
to,
souls.
yes.
Yeah. And
Well,
I love what you were saying, like as we go into 24. So I just want to like put a little plug in. So last year we did a vision board class. Guess what? Doing another vision board class this upcoming Saturday, December 30th at 1 o'clock. And there's details in the group, in the Soul Sister Adventure group. Maybe I don't know if you want to put a link at the bottom.
yeah, totally can.
Yeah, so it's I'm giving it away, $20.24, 2024.
Right.
So you can soar in 24 and you get mailed a little. So if you can't be there live, you get the recording and the notes. And a little gift comes in the mail to like supercharge your results. And I will tell you, hearing from last year's participants, like saying, like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know how these things were gonna happen. And I'm living like this is like a dream. Like I have this dream job now that I did not see coming. And it because the resonance, right? It's everything's frequency. Now come on, right? And so this is a vision board in a way that you may not have seen it done before.
Yeah.
Really pulling in the frequencies and the resonance of things that we've learned, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, what are
Yes.
you
If
doing
you are
next
not
year?
signed up for Connie's vision board class, please, please do. It is like no other, as she said. It's done in a feng shui way. It
Yep.
hits every single area of our lives because we really are full spectrum human beings. We would not want to be focusing on one area and leave you bankrupt in another area of your life. Like it just doesn't work like that.
Right.
So
I
really
think
yeah, show yours, Connie.
yeah. So I've been working on mine. So, we create a power word for the year. So be thinking
Yep.
about like, what do you want your word to be? Right.
Yep.
And then you could either select either a scripture from a holy text or a motivational quote that has the word, in there. So, this is mine. So my
Yes.
word is joy. So in the
Mm.
past, my words have been, like this year, it's been surrender and submit
Mm.
because I had some circumstances, right? And when I fight against and not accept what's so, then that's where the suffering comes in. So
Sure.
it was about surrendering and submitting. The year before was about alignment, again, being in alignment with what's so. Like, so you can see this theme. And then the year before that was trust, because I was like the year Nicholas went to heaven, my word in 2021, the next year was trust. Cause I was like, I don't see that. I don't understand. I just got to trust that this is for my highest and best good. And I'm telling you, that's been a process.
Yeah.
So I've been doing like trust, alignment, surrender, submit. And I thought, you know what? When Master Lama Surgery said soar in 24, I am ready for joy. So
Mm.
like that's a very high frequency. So my word is joy.
Yes. And mine
And
is my screensaver.
yeah. Well, and
So
I have mine as posters like hanging in my office and then the current year's on my door. So I'm about to rearrange the posters and order a new one and do my little magic miracle stuff on it.
yeah.
So yeah.
So do yourself the gift of getting yourself into that vision class so you can get access to these tools such that your life does not, like our lives are happening. We are creating it, whether we're going to consciously create it or not.
There you go.
And
There
so this is a way to consciously create your 2024 such that you have a North Star of where you want to go. Like if I wanted to get to, you know, downtown St. Louis today, like there would, like I would punch into my, or the arch, I'm going to punch into my GPS, the arch, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, if you want to get there, let's consciously create it versus be at the impact of our circumstances and, whatever comes at us, be like, oh, woe was me. No, 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 no. That's not the community that we're creating. We are creating on purpose in service for your passion, your purpose, and your calling. And
That's right.
The only way to achieve that is by getting clear about where you're going to go, what you want in every full spectrum living.
Yes. And then I found, so it's about balance, right? So that
Yes.
for the middle, I found this,
Nice.
Yin and yang balance, but with hearts. So just to remind me, love's at the center. Yeah. And then of course I got my little man.
100% love boy over there.
Yes.
I love him.
Me too. Me too. So yeah, it was interesting yesterday during this conversation with another woman leader. We were discussing this community that we're creating and serving. And she said, most people, if you ask them what their goals are, they cannot answer.
No. Or they can answer like in one area.
Right. Yeah. I want to earn, or I want to weigh.
Yeah. I want to lose 15 pounds, whatever. Yeah.
I want to have.
Yeah. Versus be. Like, who do you want to be in 2024?
Yeah. So that it is in resonance, so that it will naturally, it cannot not come to you. It cannot not.
Yes. Yes. It really is to create the vision so that we can be, who do we have to be to raise our resonance, raise our frequency to then do the things that we need to do to have the things that we want to have, which is our vision. It all starts with the being. Most people have it backwards. Most people have, I'm going to go do. And
once I have the body or the bank account or the relationship, then I'll be happy.
Yeah. Does not work that way.
No, it does not.
Golden tip right there.
That's a writer downer.
Yeah, we want to be, and then we go and do in alignment with how we've been being to then have the vision of our dreams and our desires. And that is the magic solution. If you haven't heard it from us before, which I'm sure you have, but if this is your first time hearing it, writer downer.
That's right.
Beautiful. Well, this is a beautiful and exquisite way to complete our year and our 50th episode. Yay!
I'm so proud of us.
I'm so proud of us as well. And of course, it's been an amazing pleasure and delight growing and expanding in all the ways, Miss Connie Houlihan, Miss Connie Rose.
Yeah. Well, and I look at look how far we've come, girl. Working on my vision board for this year, and I was looking at last year's and my new things, and it's so cool. It is so delicious.
It is delicious. This is the life we get to live.
It is the life we get to live.
All right. Well, we will see you again in 2024. Get in the car.
Get in the car.